The honourable member for Edmonton Beverly Clareview, followed by Calgary Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In her broken promises budget, the Premier chose not to invest in Alberta's students.
Shame.
She promised a 2% increase but failed to deliver. Students are paying the price with outrageous class sizes and are being robbed of the essential support staff. Now, this PC government's forced school boards to drain $90 million from reserve funds, contrary to the Auditor General's advice. To the Minister of Education, can you tell the House how many school districts will run deficits this year because of your refusal to invest in our students?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this government is investing in students, and through this Premier, we're investing in communities and families, and we're building this province through the school projects that we talked about briefly. What this member doesn't point out with respect to our school boards is the financial health of our school boards, and I know the Auditor General pointed out that the reserves, or the accumulated operating reserves, have decreased by $90 million over the last 5 years since 2007. What he didn't say is that between 2005 and 2007, those same reserves went up by $200 million, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member.
Mr. Speaker, given that at least 41 school boards, or two-thirds of all districts, are being forced by this PC government to run deficits this year, given that this will drain another $63 million from our schools, and given that Calgary Catholic has already told the minister that using savings to fund operations is not sustainable, will the minister stop the spin and admit that he's forcing boards into the red to make up for the Premier's broken promises to students?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the honourable member's comments are simply not factual. The health of Alberta's school boards in terms of their reserves is significant. As a matter of fact, the total reserves across the province is about $600 million. We have about $600 million sitting in bank accounts across the province of school boards, and we're looking at borrowing money to build schools. So, Mr. Speaker, those school boards were warned by previous ministers as far back as Minister Leipert in about 2006 that they needed to start or stop accumulating so much reserves. And if the financial health of this province in terms of school boards was as dire as this member says, those school reserves would not have built up by about $250 million in the last 6 years.
Honourable member.
Start delivering stable, predictable funding, and they won't need that cushion. Mr. Speaker, given that the minister's assertion in the House that $300 million was added to education funding has been contradicted by his own spokesperson, by the budget documents, and by everyone who knows how to count, and given that the minister has contradicted the Auditor General by forcing the boards to use their reserve funds to stop the bleeding, why is the minister raiding school boards to cover up this PC government's broken promises budget?
Mr. Speaker, the school boards in Alberta are amongst the best funded in the entire continent. The reserves have been built up over the last 5 or 6 years. As I've said, the facts or the allegations that the members make, or the member makes, are not accurate in terms of the increase to the budget. I didn't say it is 300. I said it's going to be 300. Mr. Speaker, we made a commitment when we did the budget that we would be funding additional enrollment. Every student that walks in the classroom this year that wasn't in the classroom next year will get the same funding that they got last year, and those incremental enrollments are going to add more money to the system, and we'll know those numbers shortly.